Hi, PerspectiveWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday, August 19th. It's already been a very active tropical season in the Atlantic Basin, and indeed we have a very active scene right now with multiple systems to monitor over the next several days. Yesterday we talked about the Madden-Julian Oscillation Index, which kind of tracks a tropical disturbance that propagates to the east over the global tropical region, and it is suggesting that we indeed will have an active time period here through the remainder of the month of August into the month of September. It is entering what we call phases 1 and 2, which typically result in increased activity in the tropical Atlantic. And not only is the MJO suggesting a lot of activity perhaps over the next few weeks, but this is climatologically the time of the year where on its own tropical activity tends to ramp up, because sea surface temperatures, which play a crucial role in both the formation and the potential intensification of tropical cyclones, are very warm by the latter half of August, nearing a peak which can be reached in the earlier middle part of September. So climatologically speaking, we tend to ramp up, and the MJO index is certainly supporting that idea of increased activity over the next couple of weeks. Well, here's wave number 1 right here over the Caribbean Sea. Here's a second wave over the central Atlantic. Yesterday we pointed out a third wave over Western Africa. That is just now moving off the west coast of Africa. Quite an impressive look to it. And yet a fourth wave, another wave, way back here over the central part of Africa. All of these generally moving along with the trade winds in an east to west direction. Perhaps these a little bit west-northwest. This particular wave looks like it may continue on a track that takes it right to the Yucatan Peninsula region of Mexico. Once it crosses over, assuming it maintains some strength, it could spill out over into the southwestern Gulf of Mexico and ultimately could have an effect on Texas down the road several days. It's possible that both of these systems end up impacting the Gulf of Mexico region, and I believe this is the area to watch for impact over the next several days. We'll kind of talk about the reasons why over the next several minutes. It has to do with the upper air pattern that is setting up. But again, the Gulf of Mexico could indeed actually have a couple different systems down the road. These two systems will tend to be suppressed to take a southern route in coming days. Well, we talked about the climatological peak. This is a map that shows over the years a compilation of tropical cyclones in the Atlantic Basin tend to average out to peaking right around September 10th. So let's call it the middle part of September. And again, the sea surface temperatures in the Atlantic, in the Caribbean, in the Gulf of Mexico play a vital role in the formation and potential intensification of tropical systems. They are very warm by this time of the year, supportive of the development of tropical systems, and they tend to reach a peak maybe late August, early to mid-September, and hence the tropical cyclone activity tends to reach a peak in the middle part of September. So again, we have climatological peak this time of the year, suggesting more activity, and that Madden-Julian Oscillation Index that tracks a tropical disturbance is also suggesting the next few weeks could be quite active indeed in the Atlantic Basin. Well, here are the latest official positions of these three tropical systems as depicted by the National Hurricane Center. Again, this first one already out over the Caribbean Sea, moving on a general west to north track, very likely can impact the Yucatan Peninsula region of Mexico in a few days, several days, and once it crosses over there, it could spill out over to the southwestern Gulf of Mexico, have an impact on the western Gulf region. This too could end up moving in this fashion here. Again, there are reasons to believe that it will not take a turn up towards the mid-Atlantic or northeast U.S., but rather head in this general direction over the next several days. And yet another wave here to monitor in the coming days. And again, there may be a fourth wave that is way back there over the central part of Africa. So again, a very active scene right now in the Atlantic Basin. Well, one of the key things I'll be looking at over the next several days with respect to the potential track of all of these systems, the upper air pattern, the 500 millibar height anomalies, kind of give a clue as to where these systems may end up going. And again, I'm in the belief that Florida, the Gulf of Mexico, Caribbean Sea, the Bahamas are likely to be the main impact areas over the next several days, as opposed to the Mid-Atlantic or the Northeast U.S. And one of the reasons why, what we're looking at here is the average over the current 5-day period of the 500 millibar height anomalies. First of all, we have a kind of an unusual trough for this time of the year over the south central U.S., keeping it below normal temperature-wise. Another one over the northeastern U.S. But watch what happens over the next few days. And again, these are averages over 5-day periods. Now this is days 4 to 8, which is August 22nd to the 27th. Notice right here we have a kind of a high pressure ridge averaged out over this 5-day period, but meanwhile up across the northeast we have strong flow from the west or northwest to the east. This suggests some of these tropical waves may very well have to be forced or suppressed to the south of this ridge, maybe across the Yucatan Peninsula, Cuba, the Florida Straits, Bahamas. This region right here, again, high pressure right here may very well force these tropical systems to take that very southern track. Again, there's a possibility we may have a couple different systems in the Gulf of Mexico at the same time. So these are the areas that I'm mainly concerned with here over the next several days. Well, let's walk through the surface forecast maps from last night's operational run of the GFS at 6Z. By the way, these maps available at tropicaltidbits.com. First of all, there is a disturbance right now moving across the eastern part of the Mid-Atlantic region with some decent rainfall over places like the Delmarva Peninsula, southern New Jersey, maybe an embedded heavier thunderstorm or two. But notice high pressure to the north and west. And again, we've always mentioned that high pressure to the north this time of the year produces some generally nice temperatures. High temperatures this afternoon, for example, in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, maybe 80 to 82 degrees, not bad at all. After these showers push off to the north and east, the sunshine should return for the afternoon hours. Another disturbance could throw some rain over the Outer Banks later on today, and even more disturbances down along the southeast coast. But let's move forward here. Watch what happens. High pressure kind of retakes control over the Mid-Atlantic, northeast U.S. later today. This, by the way, is a system over the eastern Pacific Ocean. Let's keep moving forward here. By later on tonight, tomorrow, this high pressure sitting right on top of the Mid-Atlantic region. Very pleasant temperatures in the overnight hours in the I-95 corridor region from D.C. to Philadelphia to New York to Boston. May see for the first time in a while the mid or upper 50s in some suburban locations late tonight, early tomorrow. Very pleasant temperatures again on Thursday. By the way, while the east is generally enjoying pleasant temperatures, very, very hot conditions continue across the desert southwest with many cases record-breaking high temperatures. So kind of a divided nation here with very hot weather over the southwest and very pleasant weather over the much of the eastern U.S. Now let's keep moving forward here. As we get into the end of the week, still unsettled weather conditions. Multiple upper-level disturbances will continue the threat of showers and thunderstorms Friday, Saturday, Sunday in the eastern U.S. Hot, dry out in the southwestern U.S. And just want to go out a little farther in time and notice here high pressure even at the surface here as we get into the middle part of the weekend. And then by the latter part of the weekend, we're starting to see signs of the tropical system here over Cuba. Again, high pressure to the north over the southwestern Atlantic will tend to force these systems to head westward across maybe Florida, across into the Gulf of Mexico, maybe even south of Florida, across the Florida Straits or near the Yucatan Peninsula. And let's keep moving forward here. We have a couple of different tropical systems now headed toward the Gulf of Mexico. And again, high pressure to our north. This is a forecast map for the early part of next week, and this is absolutely on the table. At one point in time, we could have a couple different systems in the Gulf of Mexico region, again with high pressure situated over the southwestern Atlantic very well may suppress storm tracks to the south. Little, if any, chance for impact, at least initially, across the mid-Atlantic or northeast U.S. This is the area to watch over the next several days. The Gulf of Mexico region, that extends from Florida down across the Bahamas, into the Caribbean Sea, and all the way to the western part of the Gulf of Mexico. So we'll continue to monitor all of these tropical systems here at PerspectiveWeather.com over the next several days. That's it for now. For PerspectiveWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.